they can handle all the threats, just to let the whole country know that police, we are ready for the elections, and all the threats we've been hearing from TikToks and all social media has also given us the room to prepare adequately towards the elections, and also to remove fear from people and the electorate in Akwatia that nobody can come to this constituency to come and cause any trouble. And we want to assure Ghanaians that the police is ready to handle any type of thing that may come in Akwatia. We are ready with the men. We have the men. We have the men who can handle this situation. And then our eyes are red for Akwatia, and nobody should think of coming to cause trouble. No political party should mobilize men to come and foment trouble. And nobody should have in mind the intention of snatching a ballot box. We have prepared our men adequately to handle this situation. And that, I informed the political parties as I met them yesterday. What I told them is that we are going in with Black Marias. Do you understand what is Black Maria? Black Maria is a prison on wheel. Yes, we have a truck that is well prepared to keep people who cause trouble, prisoners. We keep them in, and then before finally we discharge them at the police cells or whatever it is. So there is going to be prison on wheel. That will be in Akwatia. The moment you cause trouble, we arrest you, and then we put you in the Black Maria. The word is what? Black Maria. Trouble causers should know that Black Maria will be on the ground. And then we are not going to allow any political party to call us. When their people have come there to cause trouble, if you call us, nobody will listen to you. So now we want to do some small simulation about how our men who are going to conduct the snap checks and those who perform other duties, they have come here, about 600 men, well prepared, and they will be on the ground in advance to make sure that people who will come to Akwatia armed to come and cause trouble, they should see it that police, we are ready for them. Thank you.
One week's time, we'll be heading to Akwatia for the by-election. And I just played back for you there the voice of the IGP, Christian Tete-Yohonu, and he says that he certainly has the men for the job. Now, what do we know? What has happened so far? We know that some 10 persons arrested, 9 weapons seized, and police cracked down ahead of the Akwatia by-election. Now, police in the Eastern South region have arrested 10 individuals and seized 9 firearms in a series of targeted operations in Akwatia as part of heightened security measures ahead of the upcoming by-elections. Now, the police command confirmed that the weapons recovered included 8 pump-action shotguns, 1 locally manufactured single-barrel gun. Police say the operations are part of a broader crackdown on the illegal possession and use of firearms during election-related activities. Now, according to a post shared by the Ghana Police Service on August 22nd, officers intercepted a vehicle near the St. Dominic Hospital in Akwatia, driven by a man named Bernard Kumi Ofosu. Now, subsequent search revealed a Tulpa double-barrel pump-action gun, live cartridges, some FTB blank cartridges, as well as some other ammunition that has been recovered. And it's a major security concern ahead of the by-elections. Now with my colleague, Stanley Needblow. He's our fisheries, roads and highways, as well as security correspondent. Stanley, hello, good morning.
Good morning, Helen. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. How are you doing this morning?
Very great.
Fantastic. Good to have you on the program. We're looking forward to finding out what it is that you know. I wanted to find out, have you had an opportunity to be in the Akwatia area?
Okay, so actually I've not been to Akwatia area, but I've been working or I've been covering the police, and so I'm quite abreast with the police's preparation towards the upcoming Akwatia by election. So that's what I can report on.
Fantastic. We know that the IGP had, sometime last week, he said some 600 police will be deployed or have been deployed to the area. And given what we saw in Ablekuma North, he's not taking any chances. He says troublemakers will be apprehended and dealt with accordingly. Now, how has this news been received from where you sit? Adequate preparation, or is there still some room for improvement as far as security come next Tuesday is concerned?
Great. So, Helen, I must tell you that the figure that you just quoted, the 600 police officers, it's just a fraction of the whole deployment. The actual people or the number of personnel that will be deployed to Akwatia is 5,000, a whooping 5,000 police officers.
5,000?
So, 5,000.
I see.
Yes. So, the 600, the 600 were trained specifically and purposely to wield arms at the various polling stations. So
right.
I heard, you just mentioned that the political parties and the security agencies, especially the police service, they are taking cue from the incident of the Ablekuma North rerun. And so this time around, they said they are not going to leave anything to chance. So following that incident, the IGP and together with the Police Management Board, also known as POMAB, they have resolved not to pretend over a chaotic electoral process anymore. So they started putting together a bouquet of services so that they can render a peaceful by-election in Akwatia. And so some of the services that they are actually going to render to the people of Akwatia or during the process has to do with the fact that for the first time, the IGP also, apart from deploying the 5,000 men, the IGP also made mention that they are going to deploy the Black Maria.
That's right.
Black Maria is the prison on wheel. So it is going to be deployed to some of the polling stations, and then it will be patrolling as well. So in case the police service on the ground are able to arrest or apprehend somebody that is fomenting trouble, quickly the Black Maria will be ushered in so that they would imprison the person right and there. And so that is one of the deployments. And the officers too were taken through a host of training at the High-Risk Operations Center. It is located in a place called Tramatin near Huhunya in the eastern region. And so they were taken to precision shooting. They were taken through precision shooting so that according to the IGP, the precision shooting is very important because the police officers would be able to shoot at targets without injuring innocent people. So if you know you are a trouble fomenter or you are coming to Akwatia to foment trouble, then get prepared that this time around, the previous elections that we did not see any police officers wielding arms. This time around, there are going to be 600 police officers who are going to wield arms. And if they will shoot when they need be, they will shoot, because that has been the instruction. They will shoot if they need be. And then apart from the 600 out of the 5,000 figure, another 2,000 people or personnel are going to be trained. Even this week, they are being trained on public order management. So the public order management, they are going to interface with the people. They are going to be trained how to handle big wigs that will throng the various polling stations for enquiries or to take part in the exercise. When they come, these people will interface with them and then direct them as to what to do, and then give them the do's and don'ts at the polling stations. And then apart from that, some people too will serve as backup to the whole deployment. And so it's a bouquet or combination of service that the Police Management Board is going to render just to ensure that Akwatia by-election becomes a success, peaceful, transparent, just as everybody is actually looking for. And the political parties, the IGP did not mince words. It was frank with the political parties, because it said they should speak to their people. When they come to the polling stations, they should behave themselves. They are not going to tolerate any excess. So if you come there with the mind of fomenting trouble, or you have been caught or seen wielding arms or just trying to foment trouble, the police service is just ready to deal with you.
Now, that seems to not have caused too much of a deterrence. What we now know is that some 10 persons have been arrested, 9 weapons seized in a police crackdown ahead of this by-election. Is there any more intel that you have for us, Stanley, as far as weaponry is concerned? That's quite alarming. 9 weapons seized so far. Despite all that we've heard from the IGP, we talked about the Black Maria, talked about 600 police personnel deployed who are going to be armed. That seems to not have had the desired effect. We're still seeing that people are ready to foment trouble come next Tuesday.
So, Helen, I must also say that, you see, this 5,000 deployments, the first batch will be deployed to Akwatia tomorrow. Currently, like you just mentioned, those that have affected or intercepted the people wielding the arms or possessing the arms, they were being arrested by the Eastern South Regional Police Command, which is located in Akwatia. So for now, they are the people doing the underground or the communal search and everything. But then tomorrow, which is Wednesday, the 27th, tomorrow, which is Wednesday, they are going to deploy the first batch to Akwatia, which is the 600 people, 600 personnel wielding the arms. They are going to go. And apart from that, the police service is also going to hold a press conference tomorrow to detail their plans and their preparations towards the Akwatia by-election. So we have to keep our fingers crossed for whatever information the police service will be churning out to the public.
Certainly, we'll keep our eyes and ears peeled. Stanley, I know that you're a man on the beat, so we'll be speaking with you again ahead of next Tuesday. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
And that was my colleague Stanley Nieblau. He's our fisheries, roads and highways as well as security correspondent. But I've also got 2 gentlemen in the studio. Let me say good morning and a very warm welcome to Mr. J.B. Asante, Deputy Director, Policy Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation at the National Committee on Small Arms and Light Weapons. Also in studio, Mr. Carl Nisoa, and he's the Head of Communications, National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons. Gentlemen, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
How are we doing?
You're doing good.
Thank you so much for honoring the invitation. I'm sure it's a busy Tuesday morning, but you're here with us. We have quite a few questions that we'd like to ask this morning and get into the issue of arms. We've been quite alarmed with some of the information coming out of Akwatia ahead of the by-elections taking place next Tuesday, September 2nd. And Mr. Asante, I'd like to start off with you on this particular score. What do the recent arrests and firearms seizures indicate about the wider security issues that we're contending with as a country?
All right. Thank you very much. First of all, a little correction. It's National Commission on Small Arms.
National Commission.
The same organization or agency, not committee.
National Commission. Corrected. Duly noted.
Small arms and light weapons. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And let me say hello to all your listeners. And yes, indeed, the issue of small arms is something that is really worrying, because it has security implications. It affects our safety as a nation, and so there is a need for all of us to make sure that the peace that we have, is protected. And just as you said, some arrests have been made at Akwatia, all to make sure that we prevent any gun violence, in the coming by elections, to make sure that the citizens, feel safe. They can go about their civic duties without any fear. So they can just go and cast their ballot and go home. And at the end of the day, they will express their mind so far as who should be their next MP, is concerned. And so that is what, like you said from your correspondent, we are all making sure that we enjoy the peace that we have at Akwatia, to make sure that elections will not bring any unnecessary mayhem or unnecessary hardship to people. Yes, indeed, like you said earlier, when it comes to the issues of arms, we all know when we have misunderstanding and people's tempers are high, if I'm not holding any weapon, probably I may throw a hand and people will just come and, separate us. And the next minute, it's even possible we may even become friends.
That's
when
right.
you find weapons in there, then it becomes a serious matter. Because especially with a gun, when you pull the trigger, before you realized, a life is lost. And it brings all kinds of situations. It has all kinds of implications. So for us as a commission on small arms, it's very important to us that we talk to all Ghanaians to understand that we may have our misunderstandings, we may have our conflict, and we may have our differences, but we don't have to introduce weapons, especially guns, because when we do that, it escalates the situation and it brings all kinds of, hardships and situations. Yesterday we saw in a savannah region, one community where they are fighting over land.
That's right.
And people have been killed, and you could see women and their children, and it was so pathetic in the night by the roadside, because they are thinking about their survival. That is not something that is good for us as a people. And so there is a need for all of us to make sure that we don't bring in weapons, especially guns, when we are going for any contest or when we have any misunderstanding. We need to make sure that we go about it peacefully. Let's judge or let's talk about the things that we don't understand, but we should not introduce any weapon. So that is what the IGP and his people are doing in collaboration with the commission. In collaboration with the commission, to make sure that the safety of the people at Akwatia, is maintained before, during, and after the elections.
I wanted to find out, because you talk about that collaboration in practical terms, what does that look like? How does the commission collaborate with our security personnel when it comes to intelligence gathering and trying to find out where these arms and where these weapons are located?
Thank you very much. So what I should also let you know, that when we talk about the commission, we have all the security agencies as part of the commission.
Okay.
So whatever the security agencies are doing, the commission is part of them. So we share information, we do collaborate, we do liaise, and we do all that we have to do together to make sure that what must be done is done so far as the issue of illicit weapons and gun violence is concerned. Though that is how close we are in when it comes to the collaboration. And I can assure you that we are seriously in engagement with the security agencies, and whatever is going on there, the commission has its foot or its leg in there, and we are making sure that everything will go on smoothly, the way it's supposed to be. I keep saying that people really actually envy, the peace that we enjoy, our democracy, and it's something that we have the countries around us, really are envious of, and we shouldn't take it for granted. We need to all understand that peace is very, very expensive, and we cannot joke with it. And so every Ghanaian must have that understanding that, it's very important that we make sure that when there are issues, we don't try to become, what is the word? We need to exercise patience, you see, because at the end of the day, it is not just about you. And especially for the young men who think that they are strong and they can do whatever they feel like doing, they want to die for their political parties. What about your family? What about your parents? What about your siblings probably who are younger? Probably you are even married with children. What about them? So when we want to think about the use of weapons, I think we should look at the broader picture and think about people, around us, people who are looking up to us, to make sure that we don't jeopardize our own future. Because I keep saying, no one will pull a weapon and at the end of the day go scot-free. Definitely you have the security agencies to deal with, you have the law to deal with. So let me say that the commission is so much in collaboration with all the security agencies. When it comes to intelligence gathering, we are on the ground. We are making sure that all the necessary intelligence, we pick them and we act on them, and we make sure that the safety and the peace of all Ghanaians is maintained.
I want to come to Mr. Soa on this score. How is the commission communicating the need for disarmament, at least particularly to the people in Akwatia? How does that information go out?
Okay, thank you very much. So, public sensitization is one of the key things or the key tools we use as an institution, because we want to cause attitudinal change and behavioral change. So when we keep drumming home the dangers associated with owning and misusing illicit arms or even arms in general, now people get to know the dangers associated with it, and then they get to see the effect it has on us. Now, to just mention a few, you see, like my boss was rightly saying, once there are a lot of weapons in the system, there's breakdown of rule of law. People just want to do whatever they like. Crime will be heightened. The rate of crime will be heightened. Now, when you shoot someone because of an issue or because of a conflict, there's reprisal attacks because someone or a family has lost their precious individual. It is not just a statistics. Now, they will also want to attack because a life has been lost. And this prolongs the conflict. Like he was saying, if it were just left to fisticuffs, they would have separated, and now they can come back and then live as one people. So these are the effects and the dangers that we try to drum home anytime we do our public sensitization. How are we doing it, like you asked? Through media engagement, like what we are doing now. We also have one-on-one engagement, which we call the in-person stakeholder engagement with the people. We also, through press releases, also communicate with the people. And the key people we also engage are the community leaders.
Right.
And then the indigenes. So we go to the people who matter, or the people at the aim of authorities, so that we get them to buy into the message and to see the importance of having their constituents or community members to be law-abiding citizens. Because I always say this, if you're a political leader or you are a leader in the community, you want to lead the people. When you incite the people to kill themselves, who will be the one that you are actually going to rule over, or you are going to lead? So on this note, I'd like to plead or speak to the political leaders to watch their rhetorics, not to incite their members to take up arms or to bring arms to the place. Like it's been communicated even by the security correspondent. The police are doing a lot to ensure that there's law and order and there's peace during the elections. And you could tell from the arrest made that they are on top of issues and they are very serious. The security apparatus is actually very serious on this. So this should engender trust from the citizens in the security apparatus, that when they say that they are going to the security apparatus or the security agencies are saying that they are going to ensure that we have a peaceful and a safe election, they mean business. We need to trust them so that we'll keep all our firearms at home, all our weapons at home. We don't want anyone to bring taser around, pepper sprays around, a club, knife, machete, anything that can be weaponized, or any instrument that can be used to foment trouble. Just as our press release stated, anyone who is found with any form of weapon will be promptly arrested and prosecuted. And that is why you are saying that the police are going to unleash the Black Maria, which is a prison on wheels. Meaning that when you are arrested, you will be stashed away in that prison. And you see, just like Mr. Jibiasati was saying, someone will incite you to go and foment trouble. But when the law grips you, because this time we are very serious, when the law grips you, or you fall foul of the law, you'll be the only one there. No one can save you.
So when you've been shot in the leg, shot in the arm, you've lost an eye, I mean, that's up to you.
That's up to
Nobody
you.
comes to the hospital. Maybe you get one visit or so, one picture, and that's it. The rest of the future really is in your hands. And interestingly, you mentioned other items that can be used as weapons. Talk about tasers, we've got pepper spray. These are all weapons. You've got clubs, and these are all not welcome during the by-election. People often talk about, well, what about in self-defense? So aside the arm, somebody might say, well, I took pepper spray in anticipation of some type of confrontation. How do you respond to that?
All right, thank you very much. You see, I stated, you asked an initial question, which my boss rightly deals with. You asked what the arrest, what it speaks about in terms of the security space. And that's why I said that it should engender confidence and trust. The police have done their recce. They've done their analysis. They know the numbers that they need to take there. We learn from what happened in Ablekuma. They know what they need to do. And that is why they have even indicated the numbers they are on training, which means that they are capable to protect us. Not just them, but the other, in consultation with the other security agencies. They are capable to protect us. So we are telling you, trust them, don't bring that pepper spray. Because the moment your brother knows that you are trying to bring a club or a pepper spray, he will also want to go and bring a taser. Now, the effort we are putting in place to ensure that there is peace and tranquility and safety while during the elections, we ourselves are going to destroy that kind of peace, the environment. Because when I know that you are preparing yourself, naturally, I also want to prepare myself, and I would want something bigger or stronger than what you are bringing. We are on this note as a commission, and as part of the security apparatus that has been put in place to ensure that there's peaceful election, safe and free and fair elections in Akwatia, we are telling Ghanaians, trust in the security apparatus. They will protect us. Akwatia by-elections will be peaceful. So don't bring anything to protect yourself.
Certainly, Mr. So I'll pause you there very quickly. Let me enter into the conversation. Mr. Emmanuel Kuting, he's the Executive Director, Africa Center for Security and Counter-Terrorism. We have lost Mr. Kuting on the line. We will attempt to reconnect with him, also get his perspective on this particular issue. And he's been following quite keenly on the progress that is being made in Akwatia ahead of next Tuesday's by-election. But Mr. Sowa, what do you do when you face resistance? Is it ever the case that there is some resistance to the message that you take to the communities, especially about arms, those who have been using arms for quite some time as a means of protection, intimidation, and what have you? And what is the response if you ever come up against such resistance?
All right, thank you very much. So, in terms of the resistance, yes, we encounter some of these resistance, but in terms of dialogue, because I will give you a typical example. You've gone to educate people about the dangers of owning firearms, right, and they would also come across with the information that, look, where I stay, it is not safe.
Right.
I need to protect myself. So what we do is that, I've been saying that the goal of our public education and sensitization is to make sure that we cause behavioral and attitudinal change. Now, we acknowledge, first and foremost, your issue, your challenge, and then together we try to dialogue to make you understand the dangers associated with owning that firearm. Yes, you want to protect yourself, but have you also thought about the dangers it can bring to you yourself and to your immediate surroundings? If you don't keep that firearm well, your child could one day be playing with it and could injure another person or injure himself. Even you, if you are not bold enough to use that weapon when the unfortunate happens in terms of an armed robber or a criminal trying to attack you, even when they see you with a weapon, it puts you at greater risk, because when the person, that criminal, says that you are wielding a weapon, it thinks that, okay, you want to fire. Now, it makes them very furious, and that is when they would want to attack you if they have a weapon. So we try to dialogue and to drum home some of these dangers associated with it. Now, we also offer them solutions. What are some of the solutions? So I asked, have you been to the Ghana Police Service? Have you tried to engage them that where you are, you don't feel safe? So there's a need for them to increase their visibility. They would actually do that if you engage them. That means that you've given them information. Now they know that in community A or B, these activities are ongoing and we need to increase our visibility there. If they also engage you and they think that there is a need for you to be taken through the process, and then a weapon or a firearm is licensed to you, they will take you through the process. And now they are doing a good job in that you are trained on how to use the firearm. You see, there's been instances where people even have the firearm and then they don't even know how to use the firearm. They intend to point the weapon at the criminal or the one trying to attack him, and they end up turning the nozzle or the muzzle to themselves and saying hands up.
Is that an issue that the commission finds is quite frequent, that people actually have arms and they don't know how to use it, they are not properly trained, they've just acquired it and it's causing problems for themselves, maybe they don't even know how to store it? That also comes up where young ones find these guns and anything can happen. That's an issue.
It is an issue. And I can give you a typical example. In Nungwa, some years back, a man was having a licensed firearm, a pistol, and it was always in his gloves compartment. One day,
in his vehicle,
it was his friend. And one day, we don't know what happened, and there was an accidental discharge. That firearm he has kept all this while went off and shot his leg. They did all they could, but he eventually lost his life out of this. Those in one knows this matter I'm talking about because it's a prominent person. So the firearm can't be a friend like you think it is. It can always go off. There can be accidental discharge. And that is why it is of great concern. Most of the people who say we want firearms don't even know how to use it. They don't even know how to keep the firearm. And that is why we have a proposed arms bill, which is the proposed national arms bill, which when passed into law, actually will address all these things, because there will be training centers for people who have gone through the process. And by saying this, we also want to point out clearly that owning a firearm is not of right. Section 23 of the Arms and Ammunition Decree 1972, NRCD 9, states it, that it is a privilege. So this is just to caution people that the fact that you need a weapon doesn't mean that you can own one. You'll be taken through the rigorous process, and when we find out that there is a need to allow you to own a firearm, you would be. But just like I'm saying, we would want to appreciate the Honorable Minister for the Interior. He's done a good job. At the just ended accountability series, he indicated that there will be a series of meetings to ensure that we review the proposed arms bill, and that has been done about a month ago. We had that meeting, and we just want to plead that, looking at the issues surrounding arms and ammunition, we are pleading with the minister to hasten the process to ensure that the bill is promptly passed into law, because it will solve most of the gaps that we have in the current legal regime when it comes to the effective control of small arms and light weapons.
Yeah. Let me add a little to what he said. Yeah. So you see, we have all these measures in place. Like he mentioned that owning a weapon, a gun, for example, is not a right, but it's a privilege, and you'll be taken through a certain process, to make sure that indeed you are really fit, to possess the weapon before it is given to you. Why? Because the gun is a danger even to the owner. You see, and we have to make sure that lives are protected, including the person who thinks that he really needs the weapon. So he gave several examples. We need to make sure that at the end of the day, we don't give you a license to own a weapon that will end up even taking your life.
Right.
So it's important. So people must also understand that owning a weapon has its own dangers, and people have fallen victim to it. When you go to Nsawan prison, you have people there who did not really commit a crime, but their guns have, because of their guns, they find themselves there. Why? Because, like he said, accidentally, before they realized, they have pulled a trigger and shot somebody. Someone too, just out of anger. Some issue that is, considered probably very minor, even between you and your wife. If you are not careful, before you realize you pulled the trigger and you've killed somebody's daughter, and you find yourself in prison. So people must understand that the gun, like he said, is not a friend. You see, and I keep saying that we have other ways of protecting ourselves. Even the dog knows its owner. The dog is a friend. The dog, when he sees the people in the house.
That's right.
The dog knows all of them and is friendly to all of them. But when it comes to the gun, it's not like that. It doesn't care whether you are the owner. Immediately the trigger is pulled, somebody's life is lost. So that's why we say that we shouldn't resort to the guns as the first, option so far as even defending ourselves, is concerned. People talk about, I need a weapon to defend myself. There are other ways that we can protect ourselves. Like I mentioned, the use of dogs that can protect you at home. We have alarm systems, we have CCTV cameras, and other things. And even the way we build, when we build, the way we fence our walls, we want to, it's like a castle or a fort. We want to cover the whole house so that nobody will see what is going on at home. And it is not the best. At least leave some space in your walls so that if something is happening at home, anybody passing by can even see and cause an alarm for you to be, assisted. So we should look at these options instead of always trying to resort to the use of the weapon, because it will get us into trouble. I was having a conversation with a friend, who was talking about he having a pistol that he's using to protect himself. And so even when he's driving, the weapon is in the vehicle. And I know a number of people do that. And I asked him the question, do you really believe that if someone is really targeting you whilst you are driving, do you think if the person is coming at you, you can really save yourself? He thought about it and said, in fact, you've said something important. I haven't even thought of it. I said, no, that is what it is. We think that a gun can protect us, you see, but it cannot. In most cases, it cannot. So let us try to resort to other means of protecting ourselves. Let us be security conscious. You see, you are driving at night, you are going home, at least be checking through your mirror to see whether someone is following you. You turn here, the person is following. Then that should tell you that probably I need to be smarter than whoever is following me, to make sure that I don't just drive straight to my gate for the person to attack me there. Then you also advise yourself. So we need to be security conscious. We need to be alert, in wherever we are doing and wherever we are going, rather than thinking that it's the gun that will save us. So just as he said, when the law addresses the issue of even how to use the weapon, it will help us. We take you through the process. We give you all the advice that we need to give to you. And even the law says you should have a place where you can keep the weapon. And there's a good reason why the law is saying that. I remember I attended an interview in one of the TV stations, and the host was asking me, okay, so what if the applicant tells you, oh, I have a very safe place to keep the weapon, but he's actually lying to you? How would you know? And I said, well, if he's lying, he should know that he's lying to himself. Not to me or to the police officer who is interviewed, because it is for your own good to make sure that nobody will be able to have access to the weapon. And we all know what happened in Kumasi, for example, the SDA or Secretary. Children are picking their parents' guns and sending them to school. But if you are keeping them at a very safe place, there's no way your children can have access to them cause trouble. Growing up, even when I was a small boy in BBNE, I remember one day we heard all kinds of noise. What is happening? An 8-year-old boy has shot a 6-year-old boy and killed him. What happened? He took his father's weapon. They were playing. Hey, we are making that things that they see, around. Before he realized he had pulled the gun and killed his own little brother. So you have lost a son. And you yourself, if you don't take care, you may even end up in prison. So there are a lot of, things or situations surrounding guns. And so we want to appeal to all Ghanaians. Don't be thinking that it is the gun that can help you to protect yourself. Let's find other ways of protecting ourselves instead of resorting to the use of guns.
And I'm happy that we're having this conversation, because it also highlights, as you mentioned, the need for security consciousness that goes beyond weapons. So checking your surroundings, these are certain things that we should be doing, how we protect the home, use of dogs, and so on and so forth. Now, I wanted to make that distinction between those who legitimately own the firearms and those who have acquired it by illicit means. Is the messaging still the same? For example, ahead of this by-election that's happening next week, when you go into the communities, for even those who legitimately own the firearms, the message is the same. You do own the firearm, but we encourage you not to take it out with you. Exactly. What is the in terms of the legality, a person leaving home with a firearm, are there any stipulations to that where you can and cannot go if you legally own a firearm? Because I want to find out if the commission really has that locus to instruct somebody beyond that message of encouragement, don't do this, don't do that. What is that legal mandate that you have to, let's say maybe in a by-election, instruct persons not to? Are you able to do that? Or is that just a plea that you make to persons who legitimately own the firearms?
Thank you very much. So it's not a plea, it's actually the law. And people don't know, so that's why we have come out to let them know that it is against the law to carry your weapon anywhere that you go in. It is against the law. If it is for hunting, for example, then of course the license covers you that on your way to hunting, the policeman will arrest you because you are going hunting, because you acquired the weapon purposely to go hunting.
Right.
So that will be allowed. But like what we are seeing these days, we are having funerals and people are holding their pump action guns and they are firing. It is against the law. The law does not allow you to display your weapons the way people are doing. So it's actually against the law. And so you can be arrested, even though you have a license, you can be arrested, to that effect when you do that. So when we do the education, we tell them, you have acquired a weapon. The weapon is supposed to be with you at home, so that if there is anything, you can use it to defend yourself, but not to carry the weapon around, display it for everybody to see that I have a weapon, because that is even a danger to yourself. Because if someone is targeting you, Kofi, he wants to harm you, and you have made him aware that you have a weapon, and he still really wants you, you are really his target, what do you think he will do? He will also outsmart you. Oh, okay, that guy has a weapon, so we should also know how best we go attacking him. So it's not necessary. And that, you see, sometimes when those who even have legitimate weapons at night, you hear people firing warning shots. Say, oh, we want to scare robbers away and all that. It has its own disadvantages, apart from the fact that it's even against the law. The law does not allow anybody to be firing warning shots, because one of the days you can fire and accidentally it can get someone killed or harm somebody. So it's against the law to be doing that. Again, you should also know that, like I said, maybe you are some rich man somewhere and you want people to know that, hey, this is a no-go area. So once in the night you come and you fire a shot. What you are doing, you should also know that you are telling your people that I have a weapon. So if you want to come, then come very well prepared. And you come very well prepared, and they may overpower you or even kill you. So if you have the weapon, it should be like your own secret weapon. You understand?
You are not to go about telling the whole world that you own
the weapon. No,
some might say, well, I want to deter others from coming close to me, from coming into my compound, and so on and so forth.
No, that is not what really will deter a hardened criminal or someone who really, is targeting you. No, but let's say the person doesn't know, they've made some attempt, and you are able to see them first, and you are able to fire, and you scare them off. Yes, they will go their way. But the more you keep on displaying your weapon, the more you see, you let them, you put certain things in their mind. I don't know but see, it's like somebody who likes showing off. If you're not careful, you attract some enmity for yourself. One of these, so you don't need to be boastful or showing off that you have a weapon. No, it's not the best way to go. So like I said, you don't have to display your weapon in the open. It is against the law. So all those who have been carrying weapons, it's a funeral, they are carrying weapons. Even these days, during traditional marriage, it will amaze you. I saw a video.
During the traditional marriage?
I'm telling you, somebody who is going to pay his dowry for his bride. And, normally they will come and mention the things that they are bringing, and after that the family will ask, so who is the gentleman who is coming to take our daughter away? And then you have his friends who will lead him, follow him, and they will be singing and they will come. There was this gentleman who was firing weapons ahead of the groom, and I was like, come on, what is this? You see, so it is supposed to be a joyous moment. So if an accident happens and then you kill someone, then what happens? So we want to plead to everybody that in as much as it's against the law, we are also pleading because it's for your own safety and for the safety of other people. If you do that, you'll be in trouble. And let me also add this. These days, I think last Saturday, one of my colleagues sent me a video, a funeral. I mean, a funeral of one of these big chiefs, and they were firing musketry and I could also see pump action around, which is very dangerous. So we also want to appeal to our chiefs that they should take this issue up, because if you don't take care, one of these days we will hear that a live bullet has accidentally been shot, and probably one of our chiefs, have been affected, and I cannot imagine, what will happen that day. So we want to plead even to our chiefs who are using these firing musketry as part of their traditional festivities to make sure that they don't use live ammunition. And the law also says that they must go to the police to take a permit to be able to do that. So if they are not doing that, they are going against the law. They should make sure they do that and ensure that nobody brings any weapon, to whether it's a funeral or a traditional festivities, apart from the people who are in the palace who have been trained. I know there are people that traditionally they train them on how to fire this musketry. They should be the people who use, and they should use the gunpowder, which and they should know how to fire it, so that we don't have incidents like what happened to our own brother Kofi Adoma. So these are things that we can prevent. So we are trying to tell all Ghanaians that we should all make sure that we don't take these things for granted, to make sure that we don't lose innocent lives.
This thirst to have arms, acquire arms, use arms, where do you think it's stemming from? Is it just because we're watching so many action films? So let me come to you in your engagement. What is causing this thirst? Because it appears that we're seeing escalating levels of arms and ammunition acquiring by the everyday Ghanaian. Is it just because of protection? What is informing this decision and this new seeming thirst? I didn't even know that people were firing shots at wedding ceremonies that you see during the funerals and those sorts of events. I've actually heard in my own neighborhood somebody firing warning shots. I guess he wants everybody to know that he's armed and all of that. Where is it coming from?
All right, so thank you very much. There are a lot of reasons to this, but there's one that we've not been paying attention to, which has developed over the years. Growing up, when it is time for Christmas, our parents will buy the male children guns, toy guns.
That's right.
And so we grow up actually getting used to toy guns and loving them. But we don't know that subconsciously we are developing the love for firearms, because just like a female child likes a doll, because the doll was given to them from childhood. The same way, in our subconscious, we have that love for the firearm. So when we grow and we become independent, now it begins to show. And that is one of the reasons why there are a lot of tests or requests for firearms. So we would want to plead with parents. There are so many gifts we can give to our children during Christmas or on occasions. We should desist from buying them these toy guns, because most of these children who took these firearms to school, it was to show off. Because they grew up using these toy guns, and most of them are filled with water. So water pistols, and they shoot and nothing happens. They use it for what we call in the local parlance Juloke police, which means thief and the police. So like my boss was rightly saying, the child who shot his 6-year-old brother, I'm sure they were doing Juloke police, thief and police. And he was thinking it was just his normal toy gun or water pistol or whatever. And then fired and then killed the brother. So this is one of the key things. So we can get them books, we can get them radio, or there are so many things we can give, footballs, so many things which are not dangerous to them. That is the first one. The second one is social media. Most of the things that we are seeing in social media, the movies that we watch, and that also comes to the children, because a child will see a villain killed in one movie. The next time another movie is released in 2026 or 2025, that villain who died in the last movie is acting in that other movie. So that child actually thinks that...
In fact, if it's an Indian film, that same villain that was killed, in the next moment he has woken up and he's continuing.
So they are disillusioned. They actually do not see the dangers associated with owning weapons. And because they are at an impressionable age around that time, from childhood to that mid-adulthood, they are at an impressionable age. So whatever they see, they begin to practice. So parents who also have firearms, we want to admonish them to be responsible gun owners. Please, keep the gun safe from children. Don't be loading your weapon or putting it in shape in front of the children because they know. See what happened at Okes and SD. The guy could load the weapon. That was why because he knows how to do it. How did he learn it? So, as a parent, when you are loading the magazine of your firearm, don't be doing it in the glare view of the children. Keep it away. Don't show them that, like, maybe you have the firearm and then you go about trying to show class or status or brother, which my boss has mentioned all this. When you do that, your child also grows up thinking that to show that he is a man, to show that he has class and status, then he needs to wield a firearm. And that is what is causing the issues that we have in our schools. So the test is coming from so many angles. Now, another reason is that most of the bourgeoisie, if I would say that, those who have the means, because if you look at some of these young people, everything shows that they don't have the means to own some of the firearms that they're having because they're expensive. So most of these people have bought the weapons and they've registered it and giving it out to these young people to register to use it to protect their property. It is illegal. When you go to register your firearm, it's just like a driver's license. It belongs to you and you alone.
Nobody else has that right
access.
to use
it. It is not like the car. You know, the car, my boss can register the car. He has his driver's license, but he can give the car to me to drive. But the firearm is not like the car. When it is licensed to you, it is just like the driver's license. It is to you alone. The license shows the conditions. So he mentioned it that if it is hunting, it is stated. If it is for self-protection, it is stated. Whatever it is stated. Now, if you give that weapon to someone else to use, it has become illicit. And so most of the young gentlemen who are actually protecting other properties are illicitly using the weapons. And we are actually now building their quest and desire for this weapon. They will now want to find ways to get it easily. And if you look at what is happening in the Sahel, most of these weapons are now coming in because they come in cheap. So you've built the person's test. You didn't empower the person by teaching them to fish. You were giving them handouts and teaching them, showing them how to use weapons to protect your property or to do your bidding. When the time comes that you can't sustain them anymore because with time their lifestyles will change. They will have families. They also want to take care of their families. Now they will need more money. You've taught them to use firearms. Now they will go get those cheap firearms and they may become groups like armed robbers and they will come attacking you. So instead of empowering our youth in political activism, trying to get them to do these things, let's teach them to fish. Let's help build their skills. Let's help build their capacities so that they can become responsible citizens. Because if not, you teach them the wrong things, it will stay with them. And then they will come back to be a burden to the society, and not just a burden, but a threat to our national security and the peace. We only have one Ghana. If Ghana is burning, if there's anarchy, gunfire everywhere, I don't think we'll be having this conversation.
That's
because
right.
You'll be looking for somewhere to hide. My boss will be the first one to run, and I'll bypass him and sit in his car and drive and leave him. What I'm trying to say is that we'll all be finding somewhere to hide. We'll plead. The security, the issue we are talking about in Akwatia, it is not just to the security agencies where the Ghana Police Service and the Electoral Commission are the key artists who are leading, and we are also supporting. It behoves on you and I. We should watch our rhetoric. My boss prompted me yesterday when he saw a news item and someone was saying heightened tension in Akwatia, and we think such captions actually do not help the cause we are charting.
You think it fuels the narrative we have to mass up and also get our weapons ready? Because
you and I know that there's no issue in Akwatia. So why will a media house report that there's heightened tension? Please. Let's be careful of our reportage, because when we do that, we incite the people. We want them now to feel that the people can't protect us. We need to acquire our own arms, and if we do that, now they'll be going against what we are trying to tell them. It is important that we will plead also with you to in your reportage always make them know it is against the law to bring a firearm to the police station. Any election, it is illegal. No firearm. It is against the law to bring a firearm to any election at all, not just Akwatia. So periodically, if we will plead with you and other media houses to be drumming home this message that it is illegal to bring firearms to any polling station at all during elections. Also, we are pleading with people in our communities, our parents, our opinion leaders, our family heads. Let's speak to our children. They shouldn't carry firearms to these elections. the police and the other security agencies are well poised and prepared.
The Black Maria is going to be roving. Don't try it.
If you have the opportunity to maybe you could liaise with the police to just show their inside.
In fact,
so that they will know.
In fact, I've been advocating to take a look myself, because we've been reporting on it so that we can accurately tell our listeners what it really entails.
It's a place you wouldn't want to be. There are cells in there. You alone will be in there. There's no way of escape. The way it is built, you can't escape. So please, we want to drive home this message. And please, before I hand over to you.
Yes.
You see, we can't do it alone. Like my boss stated, and we've been saying it. We can't do it alone. We need everybody to be on board. It's a shared responsibility. We can't be everywhere. As we are seated here now, we can't be in TV3 because we are here.
That's right.
So the commission and the security apparatus needs everybody. We need you to be our eyes out there, our ears out there, and our mouth out there. Our mouth being that you pass on our message of peace. People should not wield weapons. We should choose dialogue instead of trying to use firearms. Now, being our eyes, when you see something, say something. When you see anything, please don't go attacking anyone when you see them using a weapon or confronting them. You need to be safe. Pass the information to us.
In fact, I wanted to come on that. Do you have mechanisms for persons to anonymously give you tips and information?
Yes, we do.
Right.
My boss would like to take it to us. Go ahead. All right. So, yes, we have mechanisms. And like I told you, it's a network. My boss stated, we have all the security heads on our board. And that's how interconnected we are with them.
Right.
So first, you can give the information to the Ghana Police Service on their short code 18555.
18555.
Or to the National Security on 999 for National Security, or the Commission. So we intentionally use this number because it is on WhatsApp also. Maybe you were able to capture a video. It will become evidence. You can send it to us on WhatsApp. You were able to capture an audio. You can send it to us on WhatsApp. Or you can even call us. Even if you give us a message and we need to call, we'll call you. Don't think about your credits. We'll call you.
Right.
So on 059 907 0944. 059 907 0944. And that's for the commission. We are on WhatsApp. So just give us a call and give us the information. And quickly we'll come there. Please, evil thrives or crime thrives on an element of surprise. So when you see something and you delay, the criminals will have their way what they want to do. So
Certainly.
When you get the information promptly, let us have the information and then we can act on them.
Absolutely. I'll plug that number again this morning before we leave. Mr. J.B. Asante, I want to get your final thoughts on this conversation as we wrap up in about a minute or two. In terms of what we're seeing across the country, not just these arms that have been intercepted in Akwatia, you've got the conflict up north and in other areas. How is the Commission working towards removing the weapons that are causing so much havoc across the country?
Thank you very much. So, to demonstrate how important it is to us and to make sure that we prevent the situation where the situation becomes escalated, the board of the commission called an emergency meeting to discuss this issue, to make sure that the way we are seeing weapons all over the country and people using it to, do all kinds of things, we make sure that we nip it in the bud before it becomes too late. So the board has come up with some recommendations for the Honorable Minister for the Interior, which have been sent to him, and we know he's going to act positively on it. So we are hoping that the minister will grant, all the requests or the recommendations that we put before him will be considered in a very positive direction to make sure that certain actions are taken. One of them is that we'll be seeking for the granting of an amnesty. Actually, next month, September, is the AU, African Union Amnesty Month. Where they are seeing to it that all African countries take initiatives to make sure that they retrieve most of these illicit weapons from their system. So we are taking steps to do that. We are having discussions with the Honorable Minister for the Interior, looking forward that we will have an amnesty granted so that people who have acquired weapons illegally. Even though ignorance of the law is no excuse, we will be granting them amnesty so that the civil categorized ones that can be registered, they can come to the police for them to be regularized for them without any arrest or prosecution or anybody asking you any questions. And for those who we also be carrying out a lot of public education and sensitization. So for those who also now think that they don't need the weapons anymore, they will have the opportunity to turn in their weapons or voluntarily surrender their weapons. Nobody is going to ask them any questions, so that we make sure that we get these weapons from the system. And we are asking the Honorable Minister probably to consider giving a 3-month amnesty. And after the amnesty, now the security agencies in collaboration with the commission will be hitting town. And just as is happening at Akwatia, that is how it's going to be. So we are going to search everywhere for weapons. And if you are found to be possessing illicit guns and you did not take advantage of the opportunity, then it means the conclusion we can draw is that probably you are a criminal, and because of course criminals are not interested in your amnesty. So if you don't bring your weapon, then probably it means you have criminal intentions, so that one will deal ruthlessly with you. And we'll make sure that we get you accosted. So there are other things that we are hoping that government will help us to be able to do. For example, banning, the use of weapons during funerals, festivities, and all that. We think that we need to put a ban, on that, and enforce, the ban as well. Even on importation of weapons, we think that we need to probably put a ban for some time, so that we can monitor what is already in the system and make sure that probably after the amnesty and we've been able to retrieve majority of them, then we can come back to see whether we can allow new importation of weapons into the country. And let me also use this opportunity to appeal to our licensed arms dealers. We have people who are called licensed arms dealers because they are given authority to import these civil category weapons. So they will sell to civilians who have gone through due process and have been given permit to come and acquire the weapons. What we know is that some of them sell especially ammunition to people without authority, because even if you need ammunition, you still need to go to the police for a permit to take it to the dealer for the ammunition to be given to you. But some of them, because it is business, they think that we should be thinking about our money and our profit. So they will not wait for people to bring their permit before they give the ammunition to them. And we are cautioning them and also appealing to their conscience, because the ammunition you are selling to somebody without a permit or authority, you don't know where that ammunition will land. It may land in your own head, or it may land killing a loved one. So we want to appeal to our licensed arms dealers. We know most of them are doing well, but a few of them are doing what is against the law, and we think they should all help us to make sure that we protect the peace and the safety and the security, so that our nation can develop socio-economically.
Certainly. Thank you so much. I wanted to just also quickly retouch on the conflict areas. So for example, I had wanted to touch on Boku. It wasn't coming top of mind. In terms of actually going into the community and yanking out the arms, yanking out the weapons, how does that happen? How does the commission actually facilitate that or collaborate with the security agencies to do that? So before any amnesty initiatives are put in place, how are you actually getting into these conflict-prone areas and taking the weaponry out?
Thank you very much. So when it comes to getting the weapons, out of the system, just as you are asking, one example that we want to use for a program that we are thinking of, we call that Weapons for Development Program. So when you take a community like Yendi, we know what used to be the situation in Yendi. Now we have found peace, but we believe the weapons are still in the system. So very soon we'll be engaging them to see how we get these weapons out of the system. But usually we try to exchange that with some development program for the people. People are talking about a weapons buyback, but we realize that is not that effective. For somebody to bring you a weapon for money, he will make sure the money he's getting is higher than how much he spent to buy the weapon. And so probably he will bring the weapon, take the money, and rather go and buy a more sophisticated weapon. So that usually does not work perfectly. So we are looking at a situation where the community, a whole community, will agree and see the need why they need to turn in their weapons, so that they can continue to enjoy the peace like Yendi. And then we'll discuss discuss what kind of development program we can bring to them in exchange of the work. So that is one thing that we are looking at. The issue of Boku is a challenge, because if you go there now for any amnesty program, nobody will mind you. Why? Because they are thinking about their protection, their security. They say, why should I bring you my weapons? So when my enemy comes to attack me, what am I going to use to defend myself? So the Boku situation is quite delicate.
Right.
We need to be able to resolve it. The people themselves must agree, to resolve the issue and put their weapons down. So we continue to urge Otumfuo, the efforts that is being made. We hope and pray that everything will go on well, so that the peace that Boku needs will happen. That is when you'll be able to go to the community and talk to them, because now they all get that understanding.
So it's a layered process. You don't just swoop in and take the weapons out.
Swoop in and take the weapons out. And the security agencies have done it before, trying to just conduct swoop, cordon and search and all that. The interesting thing is that you go to their homes, you won't find the weapons there. They know where they've hidden the weapons, and when there's the need for them to use it, quickly they will go and get the weapon and they will come and use it. So it's not that easy that you go and you just find the weapons there. No, it's not as easy as that. But
Certainly.
also we are also working at getting some weapons detection equipment. So when we are able to get them, that can also help us, because we can just go enter your backyard, and then with the scanning of the machine can tell us whether you've hidden some weapon at the backyard. So when we get all these things, we are sure that we'll be able to make a lot of progress, and we'll be able to retrieve a lot of these illicit arms from the system.
Certainly, gentlemen, what an impactful morning. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. I'm sure in due course we'll be able to have some more engagement as we drum home the message about dialogue instead of weapons. We've been speaking this morning to Mr. J.B. Asante, Deputy Director, Policy Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation, National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons. We're also joined by Mr. Carl Nisoa, Head of Communications, National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons. Gentlemen, do have a wonderful Tuesday. Thank you for your time. And this is still 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. We pause now for a quick break. When we come back, there's a lot more right here on the show.